It is a
To
beautiful
enter
thing.
into a covenant. The great Jalen Hurts. Put that on
I
a
couldn't help.
t-shirt.
I couldn't help but laugh. He
Should have
needed
that on
Jalen.
wedding t-shirts. It's a beautiful thing to enter into a covenant.
You don't know what you don't know what you don't know, John.
That's true. That's true.
I gotta do his off-season story. Top 10 Jalen Hurts isms because he's got a bunch.
I had a purpose before you had an opinion. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
Something.
he said that to Martin Frank, I
Paraphrasing.
believe.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Jalen's got a lot of good Jalenisms. He does. Gotta give him the credit.
You wonder if he thinks them. You wonder if he thinks them up, or just says them.
Yeah, I would think he does. I mean, you don't just come up with certain slogans like that on the dot. You got to at least there's got to be some level
kind
of premeditation.
Generator, t-shirt slogan generator.
I'm gonna look up famous Jalen Hurts quotes just for the heck of it. Famous.
Yeah, I didn't. There you go. I didn't walk through the fire just to smell the smoke. That was a good one. That was a good one.
I think it's funny when you Google. Oh my god! Yeah, they're. Oh my god, this is great. The only direction is to climb, and that only direction is to rise up.
Nice.
Year winner, you learn. We forgot about that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
A lot of them are applicable to life, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate some of them.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite life quotes of Jalen Hurts. The bigger you get, the smaller your circle should be.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's probably true.
Yeah, he definitely has a small
Pretty
circle.
true, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good
money is nice. Championships are better.
Better. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one I kind of thought was is he being honest about that?
No,
I don't know.
No, that's he's very intentional. He's trying to.
I'm not criticizing him either. I think
rent is due every day, and I don't plan on missing any payments. That was a early one.
Here's one from college. I've been at the mountaintop and the valley low. The thing I understand about every year, it resets.
Success and greatness aren't linear. Yeah, I remember that one. You have your ups, you have your downs. It's about how you respond to it.
How about this one? The offense will look how Jalen Hurts wants it to look. I think people forget that one. That one's that's the one they
conveniently forget it when they want to forget it.
Like people forget he has a degree in PR.
What was
is that what his degree is in?
Yeah,
I guess communications. Was it PR?
Yeah, it's like mass communications PR. That's what he does.
Okay. Yeah, well, he is a PR machine.
The offense is going to look at the offense is going to look the way Jalen Hurts wants it to look until we want to blame it on Kevin Patullo. That's what this
exactly right. What was the other one? The triple threat. He had a triple threat one too. That was good.
Yeah, the triple threat.
I consider myself a triple threat. I don't even know what he meant with that.
Hey guys, we forgot this
metal part.
I'm all ears. I'm a sponge.
Yeah, the sponge.
Yeah, I thought he would say sponge this year.
Yeah. I gave him a chance. I
know, John. You did.
10% of life is what happens to you. 90% is how you respond to it. That's true. That's a good one.
That's a very true
that's I've heard that a lot before though. Some of the other ones I haven't heard before. You hear the 90% how you react. That's a common phrase.
We have the standard for ourselves, and it only rises. I remember that one too.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. All right, good stuff, Jeff.
The standard is the standard.
Jeff, your final thought here on a Monday. It's June 1. We've been waiting for June 1 for a while. It feels like this will be it for AJ at some point, probably this week. Your final thoughts before AJ Brown might spend his last days as a Philadelphia Eagle.
It was a great run. It was a great run.
That's exactly what Jalen Hurts said, which was the right thing to say, but he also spoke about it like it was past tense. Finale.
It sounded final. Like,
well, exactly. It was over.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we were lying, we got lucky on this one.
AJ Brown is still a Philadelphia Eagle, John.
He is.
He was not wrong. Statement. I always said that. Howie is not wrong when he says that.
No, it was a true statement. It's going to be a tough day, but they'll just avoid. The truthers will avoid social media, and they'll come back. As I often say, one of my quotes, hypocrites don't care about hypocrisy. I say that all the time.
It's also not a lie if you truly believe it.
That's true. That's true as well.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Good stuff, man. We'll catch up with you next week. Appreciate you doing it today, per usual, my friend. Good stuff.
Yep. Glad to reread Jalen Hurts' life stories to you all.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Jeff. There's Jeff Kerr joining us right here on Birds 365. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr PHL. Good show there with Jeff. We appreciate him doing it. John, it's June 1. Many of our listeners have been waiting for June 1 for a long time. It feels like this saga will finally come to its conclusion, John, and we can move into the next parts of the offseason, which I think everybody's a little bit ready for at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if it happens at 4:01 within 48 hours, which is my prediction, within a week before training camp. You're not going to see Jalen Hurts. You're not going to see A.J. Brown back at the Jefferson Health Training Complex. So when it becomes official, it will become official, but A.J. Brown is not going to be an Eagle in short order. And we will turn the page and start thinking about Mekhi Lemon and Dontavian Wicks, and can they be the offense that everybody wants them to be?
Yeah, well, I don't know, John. It depends. There are some people out there who think scheme is more important than players.
It is not.
It's not. Right. So how does that bode, though? Can the scheme can improve the offense to a certain degree? I think we'd all agree to that point. But the players are more important, without a doubt. And will they be able to make up for the loss of A.J. Brown? To what degree can the scheme improve it when you lose a player like A.J. Brown? I think these are all relevant questions, John, that will kind of be the story of the season this year, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And since we're doing cliches, two of my favorite NFL cliches, it's the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and O's. That means players over scheme. And when it comes to hiring coaches, if you're hiring a scheme, you're doing it wrong.
Doesn't it feel like they hired a scheme?
Then they're doing it wrong.
But
I don't know.
Doesn't it feel like they did?
All I can do is listen to Sean Mannion until he proves me wrong. Got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And he says blended. I believe him. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, but you've already talked about it. I mean, you saw him on the field. At this point, I'm not saying, the only information we have to this point, which is not the season yet, it feels like they hired a scheme. Yes or no?
But I don't think it's a yes and no answer. I think it's they want to go to that scheme, but as Sean and you should have a foundational philosophy. So there's nothing wrong with having a foundational philosophy. The part where you go off track as a coach, and by the way, Sean was a player for much longer than he has been a coach, so he knows it from both sides. Where you go off track as a coach is if you say, I'm going to play this foundational philosophy come hell or high water. He says he's not going to do that. I believe him. That now, again, and I bring it out with Vic. Like Vic, and it was Zach Bond who was explaining it last week. He throws everything at everybody early. And they don't do it all. Then he figures out what they can do and he scales it back to what they do well. And he's proven that over a long period of time. I think that should be the hope with Sean Mannion. You have the foundational philosophy. They're trying to build that foundation, which Jalen Hurts talked about. And then when it comes time to prepare to beat so-and-so on a given game day, you scale it back to what's going to be so-and-so on game day.
It just feels like it's harder to scale back this time around. There's been more sweeping changes. There's been more foundational and structural changes, at least in my opinion. It doesn't mean you can't go back, but no Jeff Stoutland, different looking offensive line. You have a different looking offensive coordinator, new O-line coach, new run game coordinator, all these different new things. Is the scale back as easy as it once was, J-Mac? Maybe not, right?
Well, I also think people overcomplicate things at times. Just because they're moving from a heavy inside zone team to a heavy outside zone team in the running game doesn't mean there's no inside zone. So, if you are having a lot of success with inside zone and you're not having a lot of success with outside zone, I don't think it's that difficult to lean on one more than the other. And then in passing game, again, you're talking about 7 to 10 passing concepts. I think people tend to complicate it a little bit too much. I think it's about, do they have the players to perform it? Can you teach and execute it properly? And we're going to see. But I thought it was all positive from Sean Mannion early, and it was all positive from Jalen Hurts early. And that's all we have to go on.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Johnny Mac, your final thoughts on the June 1st edition with A.J. Brown looming large, my friend. All the NFL reporters are tweeting about A.J. Brown today, whether they're national, whether they're local. It doesn't matter who you are. You're tweeting about A.J. Brown if you're in the NFL world today.
It is here, 401. Might even break before that. You just can't become official until after 401. So be on alert. It's coming soon. And it's probably best to turn the page as quickly as possible.
Give us your final June 1 prediction of what the deal is.
2028 conditional 2 that will turn into a 1. Very easy conditions. And by that, I mean, they'll be tied to health. So, if he plays 17 games, it'll be like, if he gets 900 yards, ridiculously easy. That's what I think it'll look like.
Well, health could be a little bit of an issue. AJ has missed games in the last couple of years, so we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. Johnny Mac, good stuff, my friend. I will catch up with you tomorrow, maybe tonight, if we have a breaking news edition that AJ Brown has been dealt. That could come maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. If not tonight, we'll talk to you in the morning, J-Mac.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you, brother. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen. Follow him at JF McMullen. Appreciate him doing it today. Good show. It's June 1. I know all of you have been waiting patiently for June 1. All right, it is here. Does it feel as good as you thought it would? No, correct? No, it doesn't. I saw all the reports all weekend. Everybody's getting all fired up. Oh, June 1 is here. June 1 is here. A.J. Brown Day is here. Everybody's ready. It feels across the NFL that A.J. Brown will be traded from the Eagles this week. I think it's coming, but will the Eagles be able to prevail? You guys tell me. You guys seem to be very confident in that. As I always say, we'll wait and see. We'll find out. We'll find out how it looks without A.J. Brown on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's losing a big player for an offense that has struggled to move the ball through the air. So some big risk here, folks. But I understand optimism tends to be the mentality of a fan, which I appreciate, but also cannot let it cloud your objective, logical judgment, okay? Losing a good player here in A.J. Brown. How will they be able to manage it, make up for it? Let's find out. Sean Mannion's got a tall task, and we will see. All right, I got to run, everybody. I do appreciate all you guys for being here today. I think I missed the super chat. I did. Worst behavior. I apologize. I should have read this to John. If the new scheme doesn't work, what's the backup plan? Move on from Hurts or go back to the old offense? Maybe future first for AJ's ammo for a new quarterback. It's fair. It's fair. You got to see what this year looks like, obviously. I mean, if Jalen has a decent year this year, he'll be getting a new contract and he'll be locked in Philly. Will he have that year? I don't know. I mean, if Sean Mannion's the type of quarterback whisperer that we're hoping, or offensive whisperer that we're hoping, well, then Jalen Hurts will be paid. That's more likely than the alternative. But it doesn't mean the alternative is impossible, But I think it's more likely that Hurts would end up here in Philadelphia for the long term. Now, if it falls completely flat, then yeah, obviously you're probably looking at a change, But we'll find out what happens, and we'll see what they end up doing and what the offense looks like this year. Jalen's got to step up, got to have a big year this year. I think we should all be hoping for that from the quarterback. All right. Worst, thank you for the super chat. I apologize for not reading it to John. If you remind me in the chat tomorrow, worst behavior, I will read it to John tomorrow. Okay. So thank you all for doing it. Hit that like button. See you next time, everybody.